Hello everyone, this is the real Black Utaku. Welcome to a very special review, because this is going to be a collaborative review with a friend and a subscriber and fellow anime reviewer, star6wars1.
Hey everybody, star6wars1 here, and I'm glad to be a part of this collaborative review.
Gurren Lagann is a personal favorite for the both of us, so I kind of figured that this would be a good choice to do our collab. After several months of planning, it is finally done, and I hope you enjoy it.
Now let us begin with the story. For 1,000 years, the humans have lived underground, oppressed by the beastmen, and their king, the Spiral King, who rules the planet Earth with an iron fist. There is This is the tale of a man who has yet to realize his destiny. Join Simon and his friends as they go on adventures to defeat the oppressive beastmen and free Earth. Well, that's at least half the story.
Episode 16 is entirely recap of the first half of the show. Now, I actually skipped it the first 2 times I watched Gurren Lagann, but I sat through it for this review. Now, as a special feature for the DVD, it would have been perfectly fine, but as an actual aired episode, it's just about pointless. But then again, it could have been worse. It could have been another Death and Rebirth. If you want a recap of the first half, just watch the Gurren Lagann movie. It might have been 2 hours long, but it is more enjoyable than this episode was, even if I wasn't too keen on its climax. Episode 17 onward is actually a very interesting topic. There was a 7-year time jump, and for the first few episodes after the time jump, it takes on a more serious tone, before blowing shit up again. I won't get into too much detail with this because I may have spoiled too much already, but those who have seen the show know what I'm talking about. Now, these episodes have gotten some crap because of how different it was from the rest of the show, but like the arc in Chocolate on the Shauna's Second that felt more like a slice of life than a shonen, and a couple of episodes in Air that were set in feudal Japan, I actually liked it. As for the ending, Gurren Lagann was produced by Gainax. If you don't know what a Gainax ending is, just watch my Kill la Kill review or his This Ugly Beautiful World review. Just beware of spoilers in the latter. Although the story wasn't the best, Gainax knew what they were doing. For the most part, it didn't take itself too seriously, making it a well-told, yet still very enjoyable story. The characters in Gurren Lagann are some of the best I've seen. Our main protagonist, Simon, started off as a whiny little bitch, similar to Shinji Ikari, but slowly begins to develop into a much stronger character, making him one of the most developed individual characters I have ever seen in out of anime. Kamina is Simon's best friend, or bro if you will. He's loudmouthed and cocky, but he holds back when necessary. He is also someone that the other characters and many viewers look up to, making him a very popular fan favorite, me being no exception. Yoko is a potential love interest to join Kamina and Simon when they first broke through to the surface. She might have a character design that would make one go, yeah, plot. But she is a lot more than just a pair of tits on the screen. She actually has personality and can hold her own in a fight even without a gunman, something that no other character can do. Nia is the last main character, despite only being introduced in episode 9. She's trusting almost to a fault, and she is sweet and kind, but yet something doesn't seem quite right about her. The last character I'll talk about before handing it back over to Star is the Spiral King himself, Lord Janelle, who is the main antagonist for the majority of the show. He is straightforward, yet fairly complex. I like him.
As for the side characters, I'll be honest, they're actually pretty good. I'm only going to mention 3 here, but they still deserve mention. First up, Kitan. Now, Kitan, to be very fair, is pretty much Kamina up to 11. More hyperactive and more boastful. He can sometimes back it up though, so that's kinda nice. But honestly, this guy is Super Kamina, pretty much, but without the charm that Kamina had, at least in show. Then we have Rosyu, who is, in my opinion, kind of underrated. Okay, yeah, he does some pretty stupid things, but more so what I think, he's a guy that just went into the wrong show. He feels like he should be somewhere else. He should be in something like Code Geass instead of Gurren Lagann. And I can't give too much away without spoiling why that is, but if you watch the show, yeah, you might see why I'm saying this. And finally we have V-Roll. Personally one of my favorite characters in the show outside of the main group. This guy is badass. Not only can he fight just as well, if not better than Kamina, but the guy is a beastman. And probably one of the only ones really worth mentioning. That's pretty damn cool. And again, I can't spoil anything about him, but seriously, he just keeps getting more awesome as the show goes on. A great side character. As for the dub, I'll say this right now, well, not the greatest dub I've heard. It definitely deserves mention on what I consider good dubs. Yuri Lowenthal, who plays Simone, is by far the best role of the dub. But special mention has to go to Steve Blum, who voices a character named Liron. Now, this might not be funny in context, but once you hear his voice, it's kind of hilarious to hear Steve Blum, who has voiced Spike Spiegel and Toto from Code Geass, to voice Liron. Again, watch the show to see why. The animation for this show really is top-notch when it's at its best. Now, that aside, the CGI in the second half is actually done really good, surprisingly enough, as most anime with CGI in them do tend to fall flat. Look at Pokemon Forever as a great example. Now, it's not perfect though.
I don't think we can talk about Gurren Lagann's animation without mentioning episode 4. It used a totally different animation style from the rest of the series, and it looked like crap even on its own. It is also some of the most painful animation to look at. I mean, it's up there with the last 2 episodes of Evangelion, handful of episodes in Welcome to the NHK, and the original adaptation of canon in general. There were a couple of shots that were of the original style, but it wasn't enough to save the animation of the episode. Quite honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that Keaton is introduced in episode 4, I'd recommend you skip it. Overall, the animation was very good. The soundtrack for Gurren Lagann is excellent as well. It has a very wide range of tones, rivaling that of the Fairytale soundtrack, and has the widest variety of music genres I have seen out of any anime soundtrack. Genres including, but not limited to, jazz, orchestral, and rap. Popular fan favorite song from the soundtrack is a song called Libere Me from Hell. Though I admit it is a very good song, my personal favorite is an instrumental piece called With Your Drill, Pierce the Heavens.
Then there is the musical extravaganza that is Libere Me from Hell. I love this track. Now, admittedly, I can see why people don't like it. On one end, the rap can. If you don't like the rap, you will hate this song because, yeah, the rap's still there. If you don't like opera, you won't like this song. But, if you can appreciate both, this is a really good song that sends out multiple messages at the same time. And I really enjoyed it. It still had that Gurren Lagann feel. Something I'll applaud them for. other than that, there's also the opening, Soryo Days, which made it onto my favorite anime openings list. It was number 4. So you know how much I love that opening. God, yes, I love that one. Gives me energy every time I listen to it. Then we have the ending themes. I think all 3 are good in their own right, although the first one is my least favorite. The other 2, Happily Ever After, the second ending theme, which is only featured once, is an ending theme and twice as an insert song, and Mean No Peace are, in my opinion, the best end themes of the series, and really fit the show as a whole for me. Personally, I really enjoy them, and the music overall. So overall, great soundtrack, give it a listen.
Gurren Lagann has always been one of my all-time favorite anime. Even though it's been knocked down a couple of pegs after my introductions to Angel Beats and Anohana, it still holds a very solid place in my favorites list. If I was to give Gurren Lagann a final score based entirely on my enjoyment, I would give it a well-deserved 10. But I can't do that, because I have to take the other categories into account as well. Even so, I give Gurren Lagann a final score of 8.7. If you love action, adventure, and even romance, I highly recommend you check out Gurren Lagann. However, I recommend you don't use your brain so much, because the lack of logic will annoy you to no end. Which is actually kind of surprising that I enjoyed it as much, since I have a hard time shutting my brain off and have a really bad habit of overanalyzing everything. Overall, this is a great series that I'm sure most everyone will enjoy.
Overall, Gurren Lagann is by far one of my favorite series, and in terms of enjoyment, is second only to Full Metal Alchemist. It is true that there are the problems of the series, but by God, when they get a thing right, they get it really right. This is my favorite cast of characters. I have none that I hate, and I genuinely love almost every minute of it. Okay, yeah, it has problems with episode 4, but I can look past that and see a very great anime that people love, and I love it. Gainax made this, and this is by far Gainax's Magnus Opum. This is the best they've ever done for any anime by far, and without a shadow of a doubt is one of my favorite anime, and I hope to heck it will always remain that way. I give Gurren Lagann a 9.5 out of 10. Seriously, this is up there with some of the absolute best anime I've seen in terms of enjoyment and characters. And while there are a couple things I can nitpick, I think it should always remain that way.
Well, it's been a pleasure working on this review with you.
Thanks, and I hope to join you again next time.
You can watch star6wars1's almost identical copy of this review by clicking right here or in the link in the description. While you're at it, go check out his channel. While you're at it, go check out his other stuff and give him your support. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. Go check my vlogging channel at Tron by clicking right here or in the description. This is the Real Black Utaki signing out. See ya.